let's discuss the Knicks real quick here, because Jalen Brunson, after the game last night, he was flat out asked whether he thought that the Knicks season was a success or not at SNY_Knicks. That's the account we look at now. And he said, quote, "Did we win the championship? Did we get close? That's my mindset. This is how it is." In fact, let's go ahead and actually hear this. This is Jalen Brunson from last night. Again, this is right after the Game 7 loss, and him being asked, was this season a success for the Knicks?
Right.
Why do you feel that way, and how would you evaluate it?
Did we win the championship? Did we get close? So, no. That's my mindset. That's just how it is.
I think he's right.
Yeah,
I think he's right. And maybe I'm just speaking on this as a Heat fan. Maybe we're just looking at this from a Heat perspective, Zach, because second round exit in Heat world, that's never good enough. Ever. Maybe it was first year Dwayne Wade, but since then, that has not been good enough. Maybe it would have been good enough the year that Bam had the blood clots and everybody was depending on Dwayne Wade and James Johnson to bring them to the postseason, the year after the Big Three came to an end. But in Heat world, where their standards, that's not good enough. Back-to-back second round exits, and Knicks fans being praised for the standing ovations to Josh Hart, the standing ovations to OG Anunoby, the standing ovations to their beloved Knicks, and then treated as if that's the type of treatment you get in New York. First of all, no. Second of all, plenty of moral victory fan bases give standing ovations at the end of a season when their team comes up short. That from Jalen Brunson, no, I expect more. We should expect more. This is why I can't fully hate the Knicks, because that guy is the leader. I don't know if that guy is going to lead them to a championship. I hope that guy doesn't lead them to a championship. But with a Knicks fan base that celebrates one postseason victory in the last 15 years, they're outside Madison Square Garden after a Game 2 win over the Hawks in the COVID year, standing on cars and climbing light poles only to get Trae Young'd the rest of the way. They sit there and bing bong and yell into phones after any random playoff win. Just a whole full-fledged collection of losers who have no standards. They should actually follow Jalen Brunson's lead. That's the good stuff right there. This was not a successful Knicks season. They came up short. They had this series in the bag. Forget the damn injuries. The Knicks failed. Jalen Brunson's right, and Knicks fans need to follow that guy's lead.
You couldn't have said it any better, because here's the deal. I could always find a way. And in 45 years of me being on planet Earth, I could give you 100 different reasons why I hate the Knicks. My wife has been totally embarrassed at an airport when I saw Allen Houston and told him to go F himself. And I ran back to the car because this was just therapy for me, because I hate the Knicks.
Wait, you saw him at the airport. Was this Miami? Was this Fort Lauderdale? Was this LaGuardia? Was this JFK?
Ashley, my wife, picked me up at Fort Lauderdale Airport after a radio row that we always go to on all the Super Bowls, radio rows. She picks me up after not being here for a week. And I walk off, put my bags in the car, look to the right, and I see Allen Houston waiting for a car. And I went, Ash, stop the car. And she goes, why? Just stop the car. I think I know that guy. Put the window down, and I went, I'm not even joking, and this is embarrassing, but I'm doing it anyway. I looked out the window and said, Allen Houston. And he goes, hey. I go, bleep you. And I go, Ash, go, run. And we got out of there. And she goes, what was that for? And I'm like, I feel so much better right now than I did 5 minutes ago for telling Allen Houston.
You had your wife commit a bleep and run. She stopped right next to Allen Houston so you could say, hey, F you, and then you frantically told your wife, drive.
Like we just robbed the bank.
I mean, Zach, I'll tell you this. I appreciate the message you sent to Allen Houston. I'm trying to balance it against the cowardice of then squealing to your wife, go, drive. Yo, there's a part A and a part B. Part A, good. Part B,
Totally
no.
cowardly. Totally cowardly.
Take the
100%. It was for my own personal therapy. I'll take any criticism I'll get from whoever hears this, even Allen Houston himself. I felt so good after I did that. Like we just won another championship down here in Miami at this point. But let me get back to it. I said to my brother, who is a Knicks fan, yesterday, after that game was done, this doesn't feel like a typical Knicks loss to me because I can't find someone on the team I hate. I can't find someone on the team. Like I even said to Josh, my brother, I go, Josh, I'm like, Jalen Brunson, Dante, Josh Hart, like even Tibbs at this point. I'm like I think you might be going in the right direction. Like I really actually think if you keep that core together and have your front office actually try to build, Josh, the Knicks could actually be okay for the next couple of years. It's not your typical Carmelo Anthony loss where he shoots 80 shots in a game, has 12 points, and I just hate it, or Allen Houston and Spreewell, or the old Patrick Ewing. It's like it's not there. Amari Stoudemire when he came here to Miami and hit the fire extinguisher. Like it's not there. And I felt weird about it because for a split second, and I promise you it was just one split second, I kind of felt bad for my brother because he was so into that game 7. And then I came to the realization it was the Knicks and I hate the Knicks, and that's fine. But there's not a guy. I don't hate. How could you hate Jalen Brunson? I want my star player. I want Jimmy Butler. I want Tua. I want Barkov. I want all my guys. I can't even name a player on the Marlins. That's why I'm not saying that. But I want my guys after a loss like that to come out and say, this was not successful. We did not win the championship. Right.
And I like Jalen Brunson. He's a little floppy for my taste. But again, in the Eastern Conference, there's a big 7-foot flopper in Philadelphia that cannot be topped ever.
Right. Ever.
Who is a scourge on the game of basketball. But that's the type of stuff there where, this wasn't a success. Like, Knicks fans, if you're serious, if the Knicks are a serious organization, that's not going to be good enough.
Right.
Period. So enough with the let's go viral outside of Madison Square Garden. Enough of the moral victories. It's very unbecoming of a city like New York, by the way. If you're going to say, that was a good year. You literally, you ended up playing one more game than you did a year ago. You lost in game 6 to the Heat. You lost in game 7 to the Pacers in round 2. You didn't make any progress. And the other thing, too, making Tom Thibodeau this scapegoat because he plays his guys heavy minutes. I have no problem saying this. I think Brian Windhorst said it on Monday morning on Get Up. Tom Thibodeau, if not for him, the Knicks aren't even in this situation. Correct. Because the Knicks' personality is grind it out, play defense, get after you, wear you down. With the personnel they don't have dudes. They don't have guys. They don't have transcendent talent. Jalen Brunson's good. There's other Jalen Brunsons in the league, however, and there's going to be more Jalen Brunsons that come into the NBA. Tom Thibodeau has put the Knicks in a place that they haven't been in decades. And these teams are better than the beloved D'Antoni, Carmelo, Amari Stoudemire Knicks of a snap of a finger of relevance. This team's better than that, and it's because of their head coach. So take it or leave it. The Chicago Bulls, they came 2 games from an NBA Finals and maybe a Derrick Rose ACL tear from being able to usurp the big 3 and go to the finals under Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau has brought the Knicks back to a place where you can start using the CH word when you talk about the Knicks other than chump. And I don't want to hear how they're worn down. This is the NBA. Come on. They can either take it or they can't. But it also sounds so soft. Our players are tired. Their bodies are worn down, and this is why we're not going to win a championship. Listen to how you sound with that. I'm tired of the modern-day NBA fan just automatically going to, they're tired. Anthony Edwards, he doesn't take games off. Anthony Edwards is in the Western Conference Finals, man.
Anthony Edwards, by the way, I'm glad you brought him up because if you're an NBA fan out there, and this is not must-watch TV every time he's on now, I don't care if you're an East Coast person, he plays at 10:30 at night on TNT or ESPN. I don't care if it's on NBA TV in a 9:45 slot and you don't even know where NBA TV is. Find it and watch this kid because
Right.
he is the future of the NBA. There's plenty of good players in the NBA. I don't want to just take it and put it all on his back because that's not fair. I hate the Jordan comparisons. Don't compare anyone to Jordan. Stop it. The next time someone wins 6 championships in 8 years, then you can compare someone to Jordan again. Until then, stop it, stop it, stop it. This kid, to me, has killer instinct like Kobe, plays in games. Listen, he didn't have 45 points last night and they won that game. He played like crap in the first half and he was shut down. But you know what? When it counted in that third and fourth quarter and you're playing against a defending champion with a 3-time MVP on their side, yeah, he came through and played. He is incredible to watch. And let me tell you, if anyone has a chance to sign that guy in a couple of years, if he doesn't go to Minnesota, you better put out every dollar you can. If the Heat could trade everyone and their mothers for Anthony Edwards, I would take it. He's just an incredible player to watch. I wish he was on my team, but any night he's on TV now, and now I'm glad he's kind of in the Western Conference Finals so we can see him, and we're going to have a new champion this year, which is nice too. It's the irony of the NBA is fantastic now. But Anthony Edwards, to me, if I'm buying a jersey, if I'm a new fan of the NBA, that's my guy.